Hi guys, David Lockman here from Elements Financial Planning, and today I want to talk to you about creating a share market strategy. It's one of the things that we've been doing a lot with our customers lately, and it's for a couple of reasons. One, to build wealth. Obviously everyone wants to build their money up, right? And the second one is that we're doing a lot of debt recycling, so going into the share market to help people pay off their loans. You know, home loans are one of those things. The old way of just, well, not the old way, but the way people just paying down their home loan is boring for a lot of people, and really it's hard for them to get a bit excited about it, even though it's going to free them up one day to have a lot more cash flow. Creating strategies around that, and a lot of the time we can use the share market to help transition and help try to pay people's mortgages off a lot faster, and that can be the main use for it as well. So it's using it a couple of ways where being really tax effective is really important, but overall creating a share market strategy is one of the wealth building strategies long term that's worked for years and years and years. And a few of my wealthier clients aren't directly into the share market very, very heavily, and it's one of those things that you need. It's like anything, you need to look after it. You need to have a strategy for it, a very clear buying in strategy. It's very dangerous to buy once and don't reinvest and just hope for the best. So we really create a strategy around that, and it's a lot of the times it's starting off small, because it's like anything, everything's really scary when you first start. It's like, oh, do I have to put a lot of money in? Or it's more about getting started and building as you go. So just want to really talk about a few ways and a few bits and pieces that we need to do to get it right and get creating a share market strategy right for you. And a lot of the times you'll hear me talk about the bottom one here: create the target. What are we trying to do? What are we trying to achieve? We're trying to help us pay off a home loan, and then potentially help us growing an asset as well. For that asset to create us income, and at the end of the day, life's all about income. So we need a real target to grow that to an amount of money, or what we're trying to do, and then get some cash flow from hopefully forever, right? So there's a few things to consider. Well, there's actually a hell of a lot of things to consider when you're going to share market strategy. Direct shares, managed funds. There's lots of different vehicles and ways to, a lot of people get stuck on, should I buy direct shares or get into the managed funds or ETFs or whatever it may be. There's all the confusion around. There's simpler ways and there's more complicated ways depending on where you're at. So we really need to, find what's the model that's going to really work for you. Then I call the second one the buying program. So it's not a buy once and then hope for the best. It's more about buying in continuously. You might start off with a lump sum, for argument's sake. It might whatever it may be. Could be 10,000, 50,000, whatever, and then continuously adding to that on a monthly basis. So that's what I call a buying program. We want to be buying for a long period of time to grow that up and get the average price into the market and keep reinvesting and all those type of things. So we like to call a buying program, whether you're going to use leverage or not. So whether you're going to use borrowed money, equity in your home, there's different other vehicles. For me, I like to be very cautious. If every leverage is used, you've got to be really make sure that you've got a lot of boxes ticked to protect yourself. Protect all the downside things that can happen, because there's a lot of risk when you get into the borrowed money section. But that can really help. A lot of people have actually shares. You might be yourself. You might say you dabble in shares and you've got some shares. But you might have a home loan as well, so you mightn't be being as effective as potentially you could be. So if you're going to use leverage, how that leverage and what's the cost of that leverage. So when the leverage was like, the interest rates were a lot higher, so 6-7%, where you could be buying into the share market. Now it's a lot more attractive in the 2s, the 3s, but obviously it has all those risks around it. So if you're going to use leverage, how much and how controlled? And I for me personally, I like the idea of using some leverage but also cash flow. So that you don't want to be too leveraged in anything, in my opinion. So just for safety, peace of mind, and all those type of things. And then you can adjust as the market adjusts. But leverage can definitely help, whether you want to use it or not. Dividend reinvestment. So just like a lot of people are familiar with investing in property, and the people pay rent and you get that money. With the share market, it pays dividends on most of the investments within the share market, not all. And you can look to reinvest those over time and grow it up. So what I talk about investing is in units, continuously. Like right now, you might even start off with 100 units, and 110 to 200 and 300 and 400. At the end of the day, we want to build those units up as much as we can to be paying us income over and over as we go forward. Tax planning, critically important that, there's so many mistakes made in structure. If your structure's wrong, then it doesn't become tax effective when it could have been. Down the track when the asset becomes a lot of money, because you plan for it to be a lot of money. So if you do the right things and over a period of time, it can be a lot of money, and how that's held can have a massive impact on your future income. And it can be millions of dollars mistakes. I've seen it many times. Or you can be saving yourself a hell of a lot of money from making sure that you're talking to your accountant, or making sure that from the financial planning perspective, it's set up correctly, and just having that sort of view or vision that once it gets to a lot of money, how should that be set up? So, I think one of the things that I'm seeing a lot more, and there's lots of reasons why you'd start investing in the share market, and it has I think over the next 5 years great potential, and on and on and on. And the end of the day, there's always money to be made in any type of investments. Obviously, there's money to be lost as well in different things. But if you set it up the structure right, the strategy right, and have your targets right, and appropriate protection of yourself and your family and those sorts of things, it can potentially be a really good vehicle for yourself to move yourself forward financially. So I hope that helps. If you need any help with that, please just reach out. You can grab a call. We can jump on a call. Hit me up on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever you're watching this. But the reality is, get yourself moving. And if your share market investment strategy is one of those things, you really need to do your research and understand the ins and outs to make some money out of it. One of those things I always hear is, I'll just do this and see what happens. Really, don't do that. You want to have a proper strategy, clear strategy, and work it, and your chances of success are a lot higher. So I hope that helps. Talk soon. Cheers.